Hi guys, welcome to Simply Scuba. Here we have the XDEEP Stealth Sidemount BCD. So I've got two on the table in front of me right now because there are two different versions. There's the rec setup and then the tech setup. So I'm just going to quickly go over the difference between those two. So the rec setup has these sort of adjustable pinch clip straps over the shoulder straps, so they're quick and easy to adjust, easy to get in and out of, and you've got some adjustability, whereas the tech setup is a little bit more DIR. You don't have those sort of pinch clips. It's just a single piece of webbing strap. So it's still just as customizable, but once it's set up, it's kind of set up. You don't have that kind of quick adjust and quick release. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. So I'm just going to put this one away so we can focus a little bit better on the other features of these wings. So these are specifically designed for side mount divers or anyone who's multi-stage diving. If you're going for sort of depth or kind of flexibility in your diving, this is a great setup because it comes in one size, two variations, and then 3 or 4 different weight configurations. So you can get the perfect fit for yourself. Once it arrives, you just adjust all the straps so they're nice and comfortable. So the bladder itself is a wraparound bladder. If I turn it around so you can see, so this has 19 liters of lift, so about 19 kilos, and it's mainly down towards the lower back and around you, and it actually wraps around. You've got these two little tabs, so you also get some bungee cable with it, which I'll show you in a second, and that can just wrap around your front, so you're nice and slim. Your profile's really sort of tight, so it's around you, but you do have plenty of lift, and it actually has a maximum cylinder capacity or recommended capacity of 8 cylinders, so you can have lots of side mounted stages attached onto this thing. Up at the top, around your shoulders, this is just reinforced material and sort of card, so it's very sort of tough and robust. So when you're going in overhead environments, the first thing that's going to bump into it is this sort of reinforced section, and this continues in this kind of diamond shape, so that's protecting that top section of the bladder. But around the bladder itself, this is a 2-shell bladder, so you've got 1100, so 1100 D-Tex material. This is this sort of nylon cordura type material, very tough and sort of abrasion resistant. But you also have the inner bladder, which is 440, so that in itself is pretty tough. So you have your inflation system that normally comes underneath your left arm, but you can swap it over if you want to, or for a second if you really wanted to. You've got a central dump valve down in the small of your back, so that's quick and easy to grab with either arms. And then down, if we just look at the crotch strap, so you do have a D-ring down in the small of your back to clip things off onto it. You do have a little nut and bolt that attaches the bladder onto the crotch strap, but you can swap the plate that it's attached to onto some others. It also comes with these two little plates which are for your primary canister light, so you can attach those and have a sort of bungee mount system to attach those sort of onto your crotch strap. You also have another D-ring sort of down on the crotch strap, which you can adjust. You can move that up and down, or you can take that off completely. And then the D-ring that comes to the front of the wing, and then loops around your waistband, and that's for your DPV, or if you want to clip anything else onto that. So flipping it over so you can see more of the harness. So this is the recreational setup. The tech setup is pretty similar. It's just those sort of quick release mechanisms. Now this is completely customizable, so it does look a bit complicated, but once it's fitted to your shape and size, it's really comfortable. So this kind of section down in the small of your back, a lot is going on here. You've got a couple little grommets on that, so you can attach things onto there. We've got these big square bent D-rings which you can clip things off onto, and you can move those around as well. Fully customizable, so wherever you want that sort of station to be clipped off onto, it's fine. standard 2-inch webbing bands, and this is fairly like medium stiffness around the waist. And then coming round, you've got a triangular D-ring on there to clip things off onto that. You've got a, it's kind of a rubber D-ring. Again, just makes it a bit more flexible so you can clip things off onto that and move that around. Traditional steel quick release buckle, and then on the other side, it just mirrors it, except obviously without that quick release buckle. Moving up the spine, we're just going to try and quickly show you the weight system. So it's not quick release, but it stays down your spine, so it keeps you really trim, which is really handy. And this is where the different sort of weight configurations changes from sort of 4 by 1.5, 4 by 2.5, 8 by 1.5, and it's all done in this section here. There's no real easy way of showing it to you. I'm going to try and turn it so you can see it a little bit better. But inside here, you have one big section of Velcro that holds lots of different sections of Velcro, and then you can move and sort of stow your lead inside of that. And that's the main different part when you're choosing the different configurations and setups. So if you want to be a bit more complicated and have your sort of lead weight in a certain position, you can do that. But if you want sort of big blocks of lead in certain things, that's fine. But with this setup, you've got the different compartments, and that way you can have it all up towards your shoulders, or you can have it spread out. Depending on how you like your trim in the water, you can sort of customize it and have it sort of perfect for you. Now, whilst we have the BCD like this, I'm just going to put that back and show you this zipper. So this is how you can access the bladder. If we undo that zipper, you can see the difference between this outer protective shell and this inner bladder, which is the 440 D-Tex. So if you need to get in there, you need to swap over that bladder, or if you need to patch a hole in it, you can get to it. And that way, even if you do rip this external shell, it's not a death nail. You can sort of patch that, and it's still going to protect that internal bladder. So yeah, it looks quite complicated, there's lots going on, but once you get it home, you see all the different sort of component parts, you adjust it to your sort of shape and style of diving, makes it very sort of customizable. So I'm just gonna go over some of the specs and then what you get with it. But yeah, it's a very effective sort of side mount BCD. They say for multi-stage deep diving or for adventurous recreational diving, it's tough, it's nice and compact. So as far as specs, I've mentioned the 19-litre buoyancy, so plenty of buoyancy, which is quite surprising in a sort of side mount wing. The wing itself, sort of all in with the harness, weighs about 2.8 kilos. Which isn't bad for a side mount. It's quite sort of stripped down. You don't have pockets and whatnot. You can add pockets if you want, but it doesn't come as standard. So if you want something nice and sort of streamlined, this is definitely worth looking at. And then actually on the inside of the bladder, it has an antibacterial coating. So that's really cool in that the bladder itself in all BCDs is effectively just a sealed plastic bag, and so that in and around salt water, nasties can get in, and that sort of antibacterial coating is just going to help you out and sort of protect that so that the nasties don't grow quite so quickly. Cerebond threads, if you look that up, it's quite fancy sort of threads going through all of this stitching, and all of the build quality on XDEEP products is really, really high spec. Like all of the fabric is laser cut. It's got a really nice finish to it. So now just taking a quick look at what you get with it inside of the box. So you get a bit of hardware. I've shown you these are for your sort of primary canister lights. So, so you can attach those down in the small of your back. You get two little single bolt snaps. So one to go sort of around your waist and another one usually for your inflator, standard K-style inflator. You get a small length of this kind of skinny bungee. So that is for anything that you really need, basically. But you also get plenty of this chunky stuff. So again, wherever you need to put it, you do get a lot of bungee that comes as standard with it, and that way you can just customize it and make it exactly how you want it. You can cut off a length that goes around your waist and then attach onto a bolt snap, and then that's just makes it that wraparound bladder. So if you're thinking about moving into side mount, this is definitely a direction I would recommend. When you first get it, it feels quite complicated. You've got all these straps and all these things that you need to adjust, but once you've adjusted it, it's perfect, because you don't want something that's just a little bit wiggly or a little bit uncomfortable. It's tough as nails. It's really low profile as well, so if you're doing penetration dives, you don't have to worry about things getting snagged. And yeah, it's just very customizable. You can put those D-rings exactly where you want them and add and change and move things. It's very customizable. I can definitely recommend the XDEEP Stealth Side Mount BCD. Thanks for watching and safe diving.
We are an online dive store serving the UK and the world for all your diving equipment needs. So why not visit us at simplyscuba.com or click the box on your screen.